This is where I messed up last time, and I'm trying not to make the same mistake twice. After everything that went wrong in my last worm bin, I'm going to start 2 new bins with 1,000 worms. I'm going to put 500 in each bin, but this time I'm going to be doing things a little bit different. Let's see how this goes. So when you're setting up your compost bin, vermicompost, worm bin, however you call it, first thing you're going to need is bedding. For my bedding, I'm using shredded cardboard. This time I actually have a shredder, so I was able to shred the cardboard instead of cutting them up into 1-inch pieces. So we'll see if the shredded cardboard is actually going to make a difference and make it more breathable and livable for the worms. I also have 2 bins. Like I said, I'm going to be doing 1,000 worms, 500 here, 500 here. So let's go ahead and set these bins up. The first thing I'm going to be doing is putting holes in my bin. I just found that it's easier to use a drill. You can use a knife, you can use a screwdriver, you can use a pen, whatever works best for you, whatever you have available. I got these at the dollar store, so they were literally like $3 each, which was really good, so not too bad on pricing. So let's go ahead and drill some holes. And the reason I'm drilling the holes at the bottom, if you're first starting your worm bin, I want to ensure that any moisture that's too much in the bin actually gets leaked out to the bottom, out the bin, so that way the worms actually have oxygen and they can actually breathe. Now we have some holes in our bin at the bottom. That way it does not get too moist. We don't want too much water in the bins. So we have holes at the bottom just to ensure that any excess moisture gets leaked out of the bin. We don't want to drown the worms. Now we have our holes at the bottom of the bin. The next thing we want to do is put holes on the top side of the bin. The reason we're putting the holes on the top side of the bin is because we want the worms to actually get oxygen into the bin. So we're just going to put 2 rows of holes on top. You could put 1 hole at top, that's pretty big. You could put 20 holes, 15 holes. You just want to ensure that there's enough holes at the top of the bin. Whoa. But you want to make sure you have a bunch of holes in the top of the bin to ensure that there's oxygen coming into the bin. Go. Now we have holes at the bottom of the bin, and we also have holes on the sides of the bin, going all the way around. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm using a 1/4 drill bit. You obviously don't want to make the holes too big so that the worms want to escape, but you still want holes that are big enough to actually get oxygen in. And I'm using a 10-gallon storage tote. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other bin, putting the holes at the bottom so the moisture comes out, and putting holes at the sides so that oxygen can come in. Let's go. holes at the bottom of the second bin. Now, like I said, we're gonna do holes, 2 rows on the sides. You can have 1 row. I just like having 2 rows just to be safe, to make sure there's enough oxygen. But you just gotta be careful, because if there's too much airflow coming in, then the bin can also get dry. So there's a balance to kind of get it dialed in, if that makes sense. And now you have it. The bins are ready for water drainage, and on the sides, airflow. And now we're going to get our cardboard a bit moist. We're going to add some water to our dried cardboard here. This is where I messed up last time, and I'm trying not to make the same mistake twice. So what I have here is a 20-gallon bin, way bigger than the 10-gallon bins that I had before, literally twice the size. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the dried cardboard in here, and I'm going to use my handy dandy hose, and I'm going to hose it down to get some moisture in the cardboard. Last time I made the mistake of putting too much water. This time I'm not going to do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my dried cardboard inside the bin. I'm going to spread it out a bit. Then I'm going to get my hose, and I'm just going to shower it a bit. Get that cardboard nice and moist. Then I'm just going to mix it up to make sure all the cardboard is moist. Just mixing up all the moisture in the bin to ensure that all these cardboard pieces are very moist. Not wet. See, no drops coming out, but it just feels like a sponge that you may have wrung out. You know, when you wash dishes, or when you wash the dish, then it squeeze it out to make sure it's dry. That's what we see right here. People like to say leave it like a wrung out sponge, essentially. Nothing's coming out. Feels pretty moist, almost like a dry sponge. Nice and fluffy. Might add just a couple more drops in there. All right, now I'm gonna add this moist cardboard into the bins. And hopefully it's not too moist. All right, guys, now I have the 20-gallon bin here, and I have the 2 10-gallons right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add the cardboard that I just got moist into the bin, and I'm aiming for about maybe 4 to 5 inches of cardboard in the bin, making sure it's nice and fluffy. Feels pretty moist, like a damp sponge almost. There we go. And I'm going to do the same for the other bin, making sure it's nice and fluffed out. Not too wet this time, because last time I made a mistake and I made it too wet. Now we are going to be adding the cardboard into bin number 2. Technically this is my 4th bin, but bin number 2 for the video. So we're going to bin number 2 today. You know what? I'm getting the last little bit of chunks out. Making it nice and fluffy for when the worms come. I try to set my bins up, 4 to 5 days at least. A week is better, but 4 to 5 days in advance, just to ensure that everything is starting to have the microbial activity in the bin. I'll also add a handful of soil. I'll show you guys that shortly as well, just to kickstart the microbes in the bin, so that when we drop food scraps in there, the microbes start to break the food down so the worms can actually eat. Like I said before, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of soil in there to get the microbes going. That's bin 2. And then I'm going to just sprinkle some soil inside bin 1 just to get the microbes active. And then just mix it all up. Again, I don't want a bin full of soil, because I want to be able to differentiate when the compost actually comes out. Some people fill their bins up with complete compost, which is perfectly fine, that's no problem. But it's just harder to actually separate the compost from the actual worm castings that we're working for. There we go. And that soil being mixed up is going to create a solid environment. I might put a little bit more in, just to make sure that we have the entire bin covered. Just putting some more soil in that bad boy. Again, I don't want a bin full of soil. Go back to bin number 2. Add a bit more soil in there. And I'm just going to mix it all throughout the bin. So that way, again, we kickstart the microbial activity inside the bin before the worms actually get here. Nice and fluffy. And that is how you set up a compost bin for your worms, vermicompost, worm bin, whatever you want to call it. That's essentially all you got to do. Super cheap. Everybody has Amazon boxes at home. If you don't have Amazon boxes are like $1 or $2, depending on where you go to get them. The bin was about $3, so 2 bins, $6. The cardboard was from my Amazon boxes that we have at home. So we just went ahead and shredded those up. And I'll also have a video up showing you guys what shredder I use to actually get this the way I got it. There we go. So thank you guys for watching Jason Gardening and More. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. That's how small content creators like myself do actually get to meet more people and get to build our communities as we go along. Thank you guys.